Good morning, welcome to Catex TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Thursday, December 11th, 2014. You can follow us on Twitter at Catex TV. This is news that just came in. One of the Bermuda cat reinsurers has put itself up for sale. That would be Montpelier Re. It just was announced that its board has put the company up for sale, and they have appointed Credit Suisse to advise on its strategic options. Montpelier Re has a market cap of about $1.46 billion. They apparently expect an auction to begin in earnest in late January, when Montpelier will be able to provide potential acquirers with preliminary 2014 full-year results. I don't know how this is going to work during this current renewal period with brokers and cedents placing business into Montpelier after the company just announced it is for sale. After the sale of Platinum to Renaissance Re, it left Montpelier Re as a bit of an outlier in terms of scale with the other Bermudian companies. It's much smaller than, for example, Allied World, Axis, Arch, or Everest, who most likely are going to be potential acquirers. So we'll be keeping an eye on this. They have a 180 million pound stamp capacity in Lloyd's, so it's a valuable entity. We'll see what happens. That big storm is beginning to hit Northern California. It's expected to drop 8 inches of rain in the San Francisco area, actually beginning about right now, and bringing hurricane-force winds into the parts of Northern California that are at higher altitudes. The problems there, of course, is that there's been a prolonged drought in that area, and they're expecting to have quite significant soil erosion and mudslides. Meanwhile, bad weather continues to hit the European continent. The United Kingdom has been hit by the so-called storm of the century, a series of so-called weather bombs that have cut power to tens of thousands of homes. High-speed wind gusts of up to 144 miles per hour were recorded on some of the uninhabited archipelagos in the remotest part of the British Isles on the western coast of Scotland. Meanwhile, offshore buoys off Scotland are registering waves of up to about 50 feet in height. This is a massive storm. It's caused tens of thousands of power outages in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Meanwhile, in northern Spain, northeastern Spain, and Catalonia, apparently some of these winds are reaching down there. 75 mile per hour winds have ripped rooftops off and torn down walls and trees, and also killed 2 people when a train partially derailed after running into a fallen tree. And the Polish authorities are indicating that 65 mile per hour winds are expected to hit there later today and tomorrow. In London, police arrested some 76 people who participated in a die-in protest at a London shopping mall at the Westfield Shopping Center to protest police killings in the United States. Demonstrators gathered inside the shopping center, lying on the floor and shouting, "I can't breathe," a reference to the final words of Eric Garner, who died in New York in July when he was subject to a police chokehold for selling untaxed cigarettes. Of course, the grand jury acquittal of a police officer thought to be chargeable with the death of a black teenager in Ferguson, Missouri, Michael Brown, has also added fuel to this protest. The price of oil has not only affected the Arabs, but it's also affected Norway, which is Western Europe's biggest oil producer. They're facing a major economic slowdown as the price of oil has dropped some 45% in recent months. According to the finance minister, our job now is that we need to prevent a severe downturn to the economy. Norway depends on the oil industry for almost a quarter of its economic output, and it's built an $860 billion wealth fund from its offshore revenues. The Prime Minister recently signaled that previously forecast 2.25% economic growth rates are now going to be cut to about 1.5%. That's a significant drop. In the United States earlier this week, the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee released a scathing, long, detailed report on torture perpetrated by the Central Intelligence Agency on anybody remotely connected with terror. It was replete with complete descriptions of black prison sites in a number of countries around the world, including Poland and Thailand, as well as graphic descriptions of waterboarding and solitary confinement torture. All of this, of course, was ordered by the administration of George W. Bush in the immediate days following the September 11, 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center and on the Pentagon. And one of the first comments by anybody who was in power back then, former Vice President Dick Cheney, said the Senate report faulting the CIA for brutal interrogation techniques is, quote, full of crap. Mr. Cheney said that the report was, quote, a terrible piece of work. And he said that, what did you expect us to do with people like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed? Are we supposed to kiss him on both cheeks and say, please, please tell us what you know? Of course not. We did exactly what we needed to do. Mr. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was subjected to waterboarding 220 times. Mr. Cheney is going on American television on Sunday morning to further defend his case. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.